afternoon, good evening to you all, depending on where you are joining in from. My name is Eki Asafo. It is an absolute honor and privilege to welcome you to this conference, the first of its kind in Ghana, the Parent Conference 2024, themed Parenting for Change in Africa. Today, we have gathered here as a community determined to shape the future of our children, determined to shape the future of our families, our communities, our beloved country, Ghana, and Africa as a whole. Parenting is the foundation upon which societies are built. Africa is a continent brimming with a lot of potentials, but to fully harness these potentials, we must start at the root. That is our children. We must start at the root, our families. We must start at the values we instill in them. If we can create a new narrative, if we can change the narrative in Africa, a narrative of hope and strength and resilience, we must begin from today to be very intentional about how we are raising these children. The power to change a generation lies in the hands of we, the parents. The power to change the narrative for Africa, to make Africa great, starts with us. Irrespective of where you are currently in your journey, if you are a parent of a toddler, a parent of a preteen, a parent of a teenager, even a parent of an adult, there is something you can do and you must do. So, if you are an educator, if you are a nurturer, if you are a mentor guiding young adults, if you are guiding preteens, teenagers, then I want to ask you, what are you doing? Do you know that how you are handling these children, how you are bringing them up, how you are training them will determine the future for Africa tomorrow? Do you know that? In this year's conference, we will be looking at why parenting. Why do we even have to study or learn parenting? Most people ask us, we have had so many of such questions in our DMs. Why do I have to study parenting? Why should someone teach me how to parent my children? There is a way. And they tell themselves that I'm going to raise my children the same way I was raised. And this is why we are here. The same way we were raised. And this is why we are here. There are so many problems here in Africa. And yet, we don't know what to do. We don't know how to solve these problems. Always, we don't know what to do. So do you think that if we raise these children the same way our parents raised us, did you think we are going to see the change we want to see tomorrow? This is a question you need to think about. We shall also look at the first 6 years of a child, laying a strong foundation in the first 6 years of a child. What do you have to do? Children need to learn certain skills, and these have to be taught to them in the very early years of their lives. So do you even know what you have to teach your children? There are some skills you need to build, just like building a building. You need to put in a strong foundation. So what foundation do you need to build in a child before they grow? And this is what we are going to look at too in the conference. We will also look at how we can parent in peace and calm. There are so many people, parents, yelling at our children, so many people shouting, doing all sorts of things that we don't have to do with how we are raising our children. So there's a way you can parent in peace. There's a way you can parent in calmness. And this conference brings you the way you can do that in the way it has to be done. We shall also talk about how you can become an effective parent. How can you parent effectively? How do you parent so that you don't pass on your trauma to your children? Join us and let's discuss this in this year's conference. We shall also be looking at how you can partner with your spouse to raise your children to become responsible. There's a lot you can achieve when you partner with your spouse. But the problem is most couples have different perspectives to parenting. So how we are going to teach you. And do you know that if you are able to join your partner, your spouse, to parent effectively, you tend to have children, you raise your children to become so powerful, so responsible, and the parenting becomes easier for you. So we are going to teach you how you can do this with your partner to raise your children effectively. And we are also going to look at how you can raise your children to become sexually pure in this 21st century. In a century where sex is normalized, we are going to teach you how do you raise your child to remain pure in this century that sex has been normalized. And then finally, we will look at how you can build a legacy. A legacy. What legacy are you building? If you think that the houses you have, the cars you have are the legacies you are leaving for your children, then please think again. The houses can collapse, the cars will be old. The cars that our parents used some years back, today you can't use those cars again. So a car is not a legacy. A house is not a legacy. Let's teach you how you can build a legacy for your children. And at the end of this conference, you will leave not just with knowledge, but with a renewed mindset, a renewed sense of purpose. You will know what to do to make your parenting successful, and you will be encouraged to take the necessary action. This is about parenting a generation, a society, a continent. It is about intentionally ending the generational trauma and birthing a new generation of hope. I am confident that at the end of this conference, we will be able to reflect on our journey and know what we must do to redefine parenting in Africa. Once again, I welcome you to the Parents Conference. Enjoy your time with us. Thank you.
Hello, super parents, super moms, and dads. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you all, depending on where you are joining in from. My name is Ikia Safo. This is the Peak Parents Academy, and I welcome you all once again to this year's conference, the Parents Conference, themed Parenting for Change in Africa. So let me tell you something about Peak Parents Academy. Big Parents Academy is an online coaching outfit for parents, educators, caregivers. We equip parents, caregivers, and educators with the right skills and knowledge to raise wholesome children. We have seen that the problem in parenting is that most parents do not have the skills to raise wholesome children. We lack the skills, and that is why we are here to help parents with the right knowledge, with the right skills, so that we can raise our children to become change makers. We can raise our children to change the narrative for Africa. It's time that Africa move from where we are. It's time that we bring out what God has put in us. And through parenting, we believe that we can achieve this. We will also be introducing our annual online coaching program, the Inner Tribe, the Pick Parents Inner Tribe, where we are going to teach parents, we are going to teach teachers, educators, caregivers, all name it. We are going to teach you the needed tools. We are going to give you the tools. We are going to teach you the skills you need to raise children. It's going to be have an accountability system where we are going to be able to give you all the tools you need to raise wholesome children, so that Africa, I read somewhere in history that Africa was great. So if Africa have been great before, if Africa was great, then it means we have the greatness. Then it means we can rise, we can change the narrative, we can do something to take back what belongs to us. And through parenting, we believe that we can get what belongs to us. We can raise a whole new generation. So I welcome you all once again. Please put the fire emojis in the comment section. Let us see you. If you are here, please comment where you are joining from. Let us see where you are joining from. And if you haven't shared, share to another parent. This conference can be life-changing for someone. Who knows? Share to any parent, yet to be parents, to parents, your educators, anyone at all you know. Share the link with them. Let them also register and join this conference so that we can all learn together to raise a powerful generation. I welcome you. If you hear that thing, as the sessions are going on, if you hear that thing that makes you feel like this thing, you can just type it and put it in the comment section. We are here to learn. I believe that this conference is going to be life-changing for most of us. Yes, we are all going to learn together. So if you haven't done that, please share and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Subscribe so that we can reach more people, and all of that. So I welcome you once again. And without wasting much time, let me introduce our first speaker. Let me introduce our first speaker. Are you ready? Let me see your comments. Let me see the fire emojis. Let me see the comments in the comment section if you are ready for the first speaker. So I'm introducing the first speaker. Mr. Kwame Brimpong is a certified project management consultant. He is also a family engineering coach and an entrepreneur. He's very passionate about parenting, and he believes that we can raise children intentionally to become change makers in the world. One of his famous quotes is, "Parenting is a divine contract." And I believe we are going to hear more of that. He's going to go deeper into that as his session goes on. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Kwame Brimpong to the stage.
Hi, everyone. Good morning to everyone. Good afternoon, good evening, good whatever to you, wherever you find yourself. It's so much a pleasure to be here. And I welcome you all in my own way, in my own style. Okay, has already welcomed everybody, but welcome once again to the Parents Conference 2024. If you're excited to be in this conference, in fact, a lot of people were thinking that, okay, once it's a conference, it has to be in an auditorium. But man, technology is moving, okay? We have to be able to, everyone is busy. Most of you, we understand, are busy. So it is great to have this conference virtually done. And wherever you are, at your workplace, at home, even in the farm, okay, you can listen, you can watch, and you can contribute. It's so wonderful. If you're excited to be here, I want you to write in the comments, yes, I'm excited to be here. Yes, I want you to comment yes, and kindly share the link to everyone that you know, every parent that you know that can that this conference can be of benefit to. Share it to them and let's hear you. Yes. So people are commenting. Yes, I am ready. Yes, Esther is saying that she is ready. Nanaya is also saying that yes, she is here. She's excited. Okay. Someone is also saying I'm expecting a lot from this conference. Wow, we're going to learn a lot, all right? We are going to learn a lot, and it's going to be exciting. It's going to be life-changing. It's going to be, give me the words. What words can I use to describe something that is so exceptional, okay? That is new, that is energizing, that is enlightening, you see? It is so great to be here. So straight away, we move straight to business, all right? My father will always say that businessmen have little time for formalities or trivialities. So a businessman will meet their fellow businessman. Good morning, good morning. So how much are you selling the goods? What are we going to do? They're not going to ask you, how's your grandfather doing? How's your mother doing? And all that. No. We just go straight to the point. So if everybody is ready, let's get started. Two. And my topic for this session is why parenting? Why do we have to learn parenting? Why do we have to learn parenting? You see, there was a time that we were doing something online, and parents commented on Facebook that, hey, so you guys are now going to teach us how to raise our children too. Okay, it's always funny when I remember that comment. It sounds, to some people, it sounds weird. I've given birth to my child. Are you the one supposed to tell me how to raise my child? No. But today we are going to understand why you need to learn parenting. Why you need to learn parenting. And I'll start by using the just ended US elections as an analogy. Okay, the just ended US elections as an analogy. You see, those of you who are familiar and followed the elections, the mantra that Trump and Elon Musk and the others, the Republicans, were using is MAGA, Make America Great Again. Make America Great Again. In Ikuya's introduction, she said that she's read in history that Africa used to be a great civilization. Africa, most of the time we say that Africa is the cradle of civilization, like civilization started really from Africa, from Egypt. So if civilization really started from Africa, from Egypt, and those Egyptians were black at the time, then what happened to us? Why is it that Africa is now referred to as the developing or the underdeveloped world or the developing world? Okay, the third world. When are we even going to move to the second world and the first world? All right, make America great again. But in this conference, what mantra I want us to use is that let's make Africa great again. Let's make Africa great again. Let's make Africa great again. Now, if we want to make Africa great again, where does it begin? It begins not politically. If we are going to make Africa great again, we are not going to do it. Of course, we have a few weeks to the elections in Ghana. Okay, but I'm not a politician and I'm not talking about politics. Let the politicians do their thing. Okay, when it's time to vote, I'll also go and vote for the person I think can help the country move forward. But the most important thing we have to look at is our children. Children are the future. If you care about the future of Ghana, if you care about, you see, whoever is going to be the president, Nana Dankwa, was raised by parents. So whatever values he is exhibiting as a president has so much to do with the kind of parenting he had. John Evans Atta Mills, all of us know the kind of character John Evans Atta Mills had. It is partly due to the parenting they had. Now we have Nana Kwame Bediakon, we have Alan Chamating, we have Baumia, we have John Mahama, all of these people. So if they were raised well, and if their parents put serious, strong values in them, corruption will never find a way into their existence. Corruption will never find a way into their existence. If their parents imbued in them the values of honesty truthfully, if their parents imbued in them their values of faithfulness, okay, all the great values that makes a human being become a truthful, resourceful human being. Now, if we understand now that the future of this country depends on the kind of children we are raising, all right, then we come back. We have to re-engineer everything. So, for instance, the way that China used to develop was that, you see, China was known for fake goods, fake materials. So anything that you see China written on, at first we were thinking of is so much of a bad quality. But this is what they did. They studied what the West was doing, and they import the technology from the West, study the technology, break everything down. So if they buy a gadget or an implement or a tool or an item, they'll break everything down, deconstruct it, then they'll start bringing it up, putting it up, assembling it up all over again from the scratch. All right. So we have to re-engineer how other continents, how other countries have developed. Now, if we understand that the future of this country depends on the leaders of tomorrow, and the leaders of tomorrow are our children, then coming back, where is the source of character that those future leaders will be leading us? Where is that source coming from? The source is from we, the parents. That is why parents need to really take parenting serious. All right. That is why we need to take parenting serious. So the future of the continent depends on children, and the future of children also depends on we, the parents. Now, I want us to understand something now. Ikuya mentioned one of my favorite quotes. I came up with it, and I always say it to people, parents, when I meet them, that parenting is a divine contract. Parenting is a divine contract. So those of you who are business people, you understand what a contract is. All right. But this kind of contract is not a contract or road contract or building contract or any supply pitches, whatever contract. No, this is a divine contract. And this is why I'm saying parenting is a divine contract. You see, immediately God created Adam and Eve and told them that be fruitful and multiply, be fruitful and multiply, and have dominion over the earth, have dominion over everything that me, God, I have created. He transferred that ability to create to humans. So he stopped creating other human beings. So he gave that ability to function in creating other human beings to parents, to humans. Now, here is where the contract comes in. Immediately you decide to pair with an opposite sex. So let's say if you're a man and you're interested in a woman, or if you're a woman and you're interested in a man, the moment you come down and you start talking to each other with those affections, you start the negotiations. That's where the negotiations start. Okay, that's where the negotiations start. Now, immediately you get intimate. Okay, you have any sexual encounter. That is when you've sealed the contract. So you've signed everything. Okay, now once you have it and pregnancy comes, that is when you've been awarded the contract. So parenting begins right from pregnancy, not when the child is given. So you need to start preparing. If you're pregnant now, if you're a first-time parent or you're yet to be parent, it is very, very important you prepare, because God didn't create Adam and Eve before he created a garden. He created a garden before he created Adam and Eve, because he knew that the garden was a prerequisite for the very existence, for the very functioning of the humans that he has created. So even if you have, it doesn't matter whether you have kids already or children already, it doesn't matter. But if you are yet to have children, then you need to really learn parenting. So this is why I'm saying parenting is a divine contract. Now, a lot of us, or a lot of people say, oh, my parents raised me a certain way. You're not the one to come and tell me I gave birth to my kids. You're not the one to tell me how do we call it, raise my kids. Why do I have to learn parenting? Parenting, so yes, yeah. Do we learn parenting too? See, let me tell you something. When you see someone sitting in front of a car, at the front of a car, okay, in the driver's seat, all right, let's imagine this. So there's a car somewhere, and there's someone sitting in the driver's seat in front of the steering wheel. The first thought that comes to your mind is that, that's the driver. Okay, so this guy is the driver. So even wherever you are, if you want to talk to the person, you tell the person, hey, driver, come. Oh, driver this. Oh, driver that. But the true essence, the proof of whether the person is truly a driver or not, is in the driving. It's in the driving. So the fact that someone is in front of the driver's seat does not make the person a driver. What makes that person a driver is his or her ability and the kind of skill that he will be able to use that car from one point to another successfully. That is what makes the person a driver. So the fact that you've given birth does not make you an effective parent. The fact that you have a child, you've adopted a child, or you have children, does not make you an effective parent. It is in the act of raising those kids from infancy through their adult years till you are no more. Parenting is a journey. Parenting doesn't stop, but your parenting gets easier if you built the right foundations in the early stages. Okay, in the early stages. Yes. Now, in this presentation, I want us to look at a few things like the traditional parenting mindsets. Okay, certain things that people think parenting should be about, and I'll talk about why modern parenting matters. All right. Then we also look at the benefits of learning parenting. So if you hook yourself up or onto Pick Parents Academy or anything or any program that we bring on, and you take it very serious that you're going to learn parenting, then in fact, you're going to have certain benefits. And I will explain all these benefits to you. All right. And there are also some common myths about parenting that I would want us to look at and debunk all these myths. Okay, I'll debunk all these myths. Now, growing up, I used to blame my parents a lot, especially my father. And I know a lot of people, you are watching us right now, wish you had had a different kind of parenting. All right. At times in my earlier years, I used to even at a point ask myself, so is this man really my father? Okay. And my mom too. When things get very tense, I ask myself, is this man really my mother? There was a time that I remember everything I would do, my dad will not see it as enough. Kwame, come and pour water on my hands. I'll take the water, pour the water. I don't know. He said, he'll shout at me. Why didn't I tell you to do it this way? Didn't I tell you to pour the water? Like everything I did, my dad had issues with it. But when I grew up and I also became a dad and went through all these trainings, that I've been able to understand that it wasn't probably his fault. I don't know what emotional issues he had and the trauma and everything. Okay. So I used to blame my father that the challenges, the financial issues I had at the senior high school, the financial problems and the troubles I had at the university and all that. Even my relationship life, my business life, all the problems and challenges I've faced. Sometimes I wish my parents had raised me in a better way. I used to blame them. But I stopped blaming my parents the moment I realized that it wasn't their fault. Why wasn't it their fault? Because all that they were doing, no parent hates the child. Oh. No parent hates the child. But what they are doing to you is what they know how to do. However they are raising you is how they have learned, what they've picked up directly, indirectly, unconsciously, and consciously from their parents. So my father and mother are raising me through the way how their parents, their father and their mother raised them. And their father and mother too raised my parents according to how their parents also raised them. And their parents, my grandfathers or my great grandfathers also raised my grandfathers according to how their fathers too raised them. So it continues like that. It continues until you break the chain. So we should stop blaming. There are some of you watching right now, you still blame your parents. There are some who don't even speak with their parents. Stop blaming them. They've done enough. Even if they didn't pay your fees and stuff. You see, there are people in this world who are successful in life and who are glorifying God in several means. They didn't even ever set eyes on their father and their mother ever before. They don't have parents, but they have lived life and are living fulfilled lives. So if you are lucky enough and blessed enough to have parents, don't blame them whether they are alcoholics, no matter how your parent is, he's your parent. Don't blame them. They were just doing what and how they know how to do. And you are here because something is not exactly the way you wanted it. You are watching this conference. You are here in this conference because you believe that something can change. And this is your opportunity to be the parent you never had. This is the opportunity to give your children the best parents they could ever have so that they can grow to become the best possible human beings that God created them to be. So let's stop blaming our parents. Let's stop it. Okay. Parenting isn't about perfection. Please, parenting isn't about perfection. It's about being present, evolving, and guiding your children into the best versions of themselves. So you are not making children into how you want them to be. You are guiding them. You are helping them evolve into the kind of persons, the actual versions of themselves. Every child comes into this world with certain things, their DNA and their abilities. And scientists also have proven that when we give birth to our children, every child comes into this world with millions of combinations of DNA from our fathers, from our ancestors, from our grandfathers. So you realize that you give birth to a child and the child behaves like your auntie somewhere, or the child behaves like your great grandfather. So the DNA that becomes dominant, that is what shows up in the child. So when they come into this world, the chemistry of how their bodies are made and how their brains are wired, and spiritually what they are meant to achieve in this world, that is what controls, that is what determines the child's attitude, the child's perception, how they behave. So it is your responsibility as a parent to guide the child so that the true versions of themselves can come out. All right. Now, there are some traditional parenting mindsets that I want us to look at today. The first thing is spare the rod and spoil the child. A lot of you, I know a lot of you have that issue. Spare the rod and spoil the child. So if you don't beat, we think that if you don't beat the child, the child, there are fathers. Last time I was talking to a mother, and she was complaining that her husband comes home, and even they have two kids. Okay, the first child is a boy, a son. The son can't even go close to the father because immediately the father enters the house, he frowns, and the slightest mistake the boys will do or the kids will do, he will shout at them. Have you done your homework? He will take the cane and lash the kid. People think that spare the rod, we've erroneously pushed that thing into our minds. But that is not really what it means. When you read Proverbs 13, 24 or something, the pastors, if I goof with the quotations, forgive me. I'm not yet a pastor. I'm not a pastor, so kindly forgive me. But I'm just trying to establish a point here. You see, in Egyptian mythology, the rod signifies authority. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Now, the rod signifies authority, and it signifies nobleness, and it also signifies guidance, because shepherds used to use their rod to guide their sheep across wherever they would go to. So the rod analogy that is used in the Proverbs is that if you don't guide the child properly, if you don't use diverse strategic means of discipline to your child, you're going to spoil your child. Scientifically, it is proven that using force, using torture, beating the child doesn't always, let me even take away the word always, it doesn't bring any good results. For me, there was a point that when immediately I hear my father's name, I will shrink. Okay. When he calls me, I couldn't even respond that. It was when I grew up to a certain age that I told myself, so why is that some people, when their parents call them, they are able to respond ma or daddy, but I'm not able to. So I have to also get into that. And I realized, okay, let me try. And when he calls me and I respond, daddy, I didn't feel anything. I felt like I'm pushing myself, I'm forced. I have to do it because that's the normal thing to do. My dad will come home and he will look at you, what you call the bombastic side eye. This one, it wasn't a side eye, it was a direct eye. Okay, he'll give you that bombastic eye. and how he will look at you. And when my dad beats me, he would raise you, beat you like his colleague, raise me, throw me up, and kick me and all that. It put so much fear in me. And it has made me so much of an introvert. It has so much impact in me negatively. I am so scared. I don't want trouble. I fear to explore. It put so much fear in me. It didn't help me. Okay, there wasn't a single time that my dad would sit down with me and talk to me in a very comforting way. I remember it was only one time. That was even the time, I think I was after 21 or so, that he sat down with me. And I remember that experience till now. So you see how children see value experiences. I remember that was the only time my dad spoke with me, sat down with me and asked me, Kwame, what do you want to do in future? What do you want to do? I was surprised, but it was a memorable moment. Okay, so spare the rod and spoil the child. Please, let's put that thing away. The stick beating your child is not the best form of discipline. All right, that's why we are talking about positive, intentional, and conscious. Positive parenting. Be intentional. Pick Parenting Academy. So positive is use positivity, use positive correction, use positive things. Okay, a positive approach to raising children the right way. Then intentional. Nothing just happens in this world. You have to be intentional and deliberate. You have to be intentional and deliberate. Okay, you need to decide that this is what I'm going to do. These are the steps and strategies that I'm going to use, and I'm going to get it done. Then you have to be conscious, spiritually, emotionally. You need to have the wisdom, the wherewithal, the understanding. Okay, the understanding that, okay, this is how the whole thing is about. Parenting is about. You are aware, that inner awareness, that spiritual awareness. That is why peak parenting exists. So if you are here, it's a privilege. I always say that nothing is a coincidence in this world. If you're on this platform or if you're in this conference, then your life is about to change. Yes, then your life is about to change. If you are doing well so far in your parenting, then you're about to do even better. You're about to do even better. There's another thing too that we talk about. Children should be seen, not heard. When I was young, when adults meet and they are talking, okay, you come there, you can't even complain, you can't talk. We don't want children to voice out, to even express themselves. No, it doesn't bring out the best in these kids. Okay, it doesn't bring out the best in these kids. The emphasis should be on obedience and not on communication. The emphasis on obedience over communication. Okay, we should rather emphasize communication and not just obedience. Okay, we should rather emphasize communication, how you can communicate what you truly intend to the child, and how you can also understand your child. So with Pick Parent, or if you get actively involved in all the activities of Pick Parenting, or throughout this conference, you're going to learn how you can communicate with your child. A lot of you are complaining that your children don't listen to you. Now, so thing. It's not about that. You understand how you can communicate to your child so that they can listen to you every time. And you also understand how you can listen to your child so that they can always express themselves. A lot of children are going through serious things even in their schools. Most of you have issues like that. And parents call us and complain and talk to. They don't know what to do. Sexual abuse, bullying, a whole lot of stuff, peer pressure and all that. And these children are not able to say it because they are afraid that if they say it, trouble for them. Trouble for them. So we are going to learn and understand how to communicate with our children so that they can tell us everything, they can accept us as parents, and we can also tell them and they would listen to us. Okay, there's also this old, ancient, old school mindset about do as I say, not as I do. You, the parent, you don't want to do what you're saying. So you come home drunk and you expect the child to grow and not be a drunk or a drunkard. No, the notion of parenting authority over explanation. No, this has to stop. Also, the mindset that children will just figure it out without guidance. And this is one thing that is worrying and killing a lot of families, a lot of kids, destroying a lot of children. Parents think that, oh, I've given birth to my child. No one taught me, no one did anything consciously or intentionally. My parents didn't even care about me, but I've turned out great. Okay, you are lucky, but you are not aware that there are certain experiences, even there are certain principles that you picked up along the way, and just by the grace of God, according to what you've picked up along the way, that has made you who you are today. You could have been better if you had a better foundation. So don't ever think or say that the children, they will be fine. Don't ever say that. Okay. Don't ever say that they will be fine. They will just figure it out. Okay. All right. So let's look at why modern parenting matters. Why this all sort of strategies and things that we are saying, that you have to parent this way, you have to parent intentionally, you have to parent consciously, and all that. You see, the world has changed though, and the world is changing, and the world will continue to change. Technology, education, social dynamics, like expectations are evolving rapidly. Change is the only constant in this universe. Change is the only constant in this world. So the world is always changing. So whatever you think you are training your child with, whatever you think, whatever values you think you are putting into your child, whatever expectations you have in your child, there are other forces too that are competing with your influence on the child. And the most dangerous thing is that every day that thing changes. Every day it evolves. Every day there's something new. Technology is changing. In the 1990s, we didn't have mobile phones like we have now. Okay. In early 2000s, we were not even thinking about AI. Right now, in a very few years, about 5 to 6 years, the experts are saying that Google search is even going to die. Most of you here, even on WhatsApp, you have the Meta AI. If you want to find out something, okay, what is the meaning of what, how do we, you just type it in and AI gives you the answer. You don't go to Google again and search. So this is how fast the world is changing. And you as a parent need to also be really, really intentional and conscious and positive about how you're raising your child. Else, someone else, a negative force, will pick your child away from you. And immediately that influence you have with your child ceases. That contract, that divine contract, has failed. And I tell you, whatever you reap, you shall sow. If you were not ready to raise that child to become a true manifestation of the Creator, trouble for you. If you are not ready, you shouldn't have even impregnated someone, or you shouldn't have even gotten yourself pregnant. God will ask you, whatever you believe in, if you believe in the force, if you believe in nature, if you don't believe in God and you believe in something else, it is a rule, it's a principle of nature. Whatever you sow, you shall reap. Anything that goes against the normal course of nature brings trouble. So please, it is your responsibility. You're already in contract. You can't say no to it. It's non-negotiable. So if you have a child and the child is like not listening to you, or is involved in drugs or in anything, it is your child. That is the contract you've been given. So whatever way you have to find to make sure that this child turns out, it's never too late. Don't ever give up. Don't ever give up on a child. Parenting begins with you, the parent, and not the child. So if you have any challenges going on, look into yourself, because as the child was growing up, he picked up, you are the first source of influence to the child. Before parent, teachers will come in and other people will come in. So if your foundations are bad, it's not too late. You can still do something about it. So the world is changing. That is why you need to learn parenting. That is why you need to learn parenting. Take courses. You see, I don't know how to put this, but let's value things. Okay, let's value things. This conference we are having is not an auditorium. We've made it easy. You're not paying anything. We feel that it is an existential problem that we are facing as humans. It is a key issue. And we need to get this information across. If you're on this platform or if you're on this conference, tell every other parent you know this is a state of emergency. All the warriors of nature, all the warriors of God, assemble and let's put our acts together. All parents, we are the warriors of God to secure the future and make sure that the kingdom of God that we always pray about, let thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth. If that kingdom will come, it depends on you watching me, and it also depends on me. But when Jesus said in the Bible that wherever two or more are gathered in my name, I am present. And whatever they ask in my name, he didn't say wherever one person is standing. You see, when God created humans and he said that be fruitful and multiply and have dominion, be fruitful means that I believe all of us understand, but my version of fruitfulness is that you have to be able to create, bring something from nothing into existence, because that is who God is in his image and as his in his likeness. All right, let's be fruitful. Let's be fruitful. Let things, good things come out of us. And the other thing is that multiply. You see, multiplication starts from two, not one. That is why anything you multiply by one still remains the same. But whatever you multiply by two will never remain the same. That is why Jesus said that wherever two or more, so the power of humans starts from two and not one. The power that you have as parents start from two. That is why marriage is between two people, a man and a woman. So parenting shouldn't even be about one person. Every home, every parent, every child that is raised by a single parent, it's not easy. It's not easy. On a scale to 1 to 10, most of the time, about 70% of single parenting have issues. It's not easy. It's not the best to happen to people, but things happen, issues happen. Okay, you can't stay married forever. It happens. We are humans. Okay, but the thing is, at every point in time, if you're a man and you are raising a child, find some way to get a mother figure, because that is how nature has designed it. That is how God has designed it. Find a way to get a mother figure into the life of the child. Else, trouble for you, because you are in contract. It's a divine legal contract. And you see, when you have trouble with the lawyers in heaven, I tell you, trouble for you. Nigerians will say, wahala for you. Wahala for you. You will be messed up here on earth, and you also be messed up in the afterlife, because whatever you sow, you shall reap. So if you're a father and you're a single parent, I beg you, it doesn't necessarily mean marry right now. A mother figure can be your own mother. A mother figure can be your sister. A mother figure can be a trusted adult, as some parenting coaches will say it. Get a mother figure. And if you're a mother and you're a single parent raising kids, I beg you in the name of God, get a father figure. Get a father figure. It could be your brother, it could be your uncle, it could be your father, it could be any trusted adult you trust. It could be your spiritual father, it could be your pastor. Never try to parent alone. My session it's short, so we can't delve into all the details of all these things. And the conference is 3 days, so other speakers will come and talk about these things more and more. All right, so it is very, very important. We have to take care of that. Okay, old methods may no longer prepare children for modern challenges. So if you used to let's say write letters, these days we don't write letters. When I was in the primary school, we used some of you who are around my age, even above my age, you remember you used to write pen pal. We had something that we call pen pal, EMS. So if you want to write letters to someone outside the country, you buy EMS. It was a premium service and all that. Letter writing is almost dead. Let me say it's dead. Email came. Text messages have taken over. Now, text messages and emails are on now, but right now we have instant video messages as we are speaking right now. Okay. At first, we would have had to meet in an auditorium. Now, I am sitting here, and wherever you are, anywhere, any part of the world, you are listening to me. So, old methods to send information may no longer prepare you for whatever you want to do with regards to information sharing. So, old methods may no longer prepare children for modern challenges. Parenting is not just about control. It's about connection. It's about communication. It's about collaboration. This is why you need to adopt modern parenting methods. I can't say that Emre Sesan now so Sesan Emre Dania now so Daniel. All right, you need to attune, as the evolution theorists say, that it is the like the survival, okay, is the species that is easily adaptable. Those of you who are biologists, okay, it is the species that can easily adapt that survives, because changes will always come. So if a change happens and you don't adapt to those changes while still maintaining your core, you will die. Business people will say that innovate or die. So change is constant. Modern parenting focuses on nurturing a child's individuality and emotional intelligence, not just obedience. So right now, when your child gets angry, when your child is throwing tantrums, and when your child is misbehaving in a certain way, you won't just get angry and shout at the child and beat the child. You will now be able to understand why your child is behaving the way they do. And once you understand that, it will be easier for you to steer and guide the child into becoming a responsible and wholesome adult. Let me give you this quote. What got us here won't get our children there. What got us here won't get our children there. Now, these are some of benefits. My session should be coming to a close very soon. So I want us to touch on some benefits of why we need to start taking parenting seriously, why you need to learn parenting, why you need to learn parenting. So those of you who were thinking that, oh, do we have to learn parenting too? Yes, you have to. And some of us, if you allow us, all right, we will be pushing the information, the strategies, the skills, and everything across, because things have to change. We have to make Africa great again. So please, everyone listening here, today is the beginning of the rest of your lives ahead into better parenting, into better families. In one of these sessions across the conference, we are even going to learn how to build family legacies. Why some families in this world are still powerful to date. There are some families, when you hear their name, you know that yes, it's not today, no be today. You see, so how you be able to build a family legacy? You see, you work, you achieve all the things, you become a politician, you become a doctor, a lawyer, a businessman, build a house, marry, have kids, and everything. And what else? When you achieve all this success, what happens? What happens? What happens after you are dead and gone? So in that session, we talk about building a positive family legacy. You see, there are what your current situation in society does not determine how your child will turn out. There are pastors who have very stubborn children. There are pastors who have very stubborn children. There are pastors who have children who are so wayward, so opposite to the caliber, the character, the form of their parents. There are people who have married and have successful families, and their children are just messed up in their marriages. There are people who are leaders, who are successful in society, but they are kids. And so a lot of people achieve so much wealth in this world, but immediately they die and go. That is the end. Their companies die. Their legacies die and go with them. It shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't be that way. Okay, it shouldn't be that way. Learning parenting will help you build stronger relationships with your children. You become a trusted guide, not just an authority figure that children should fear you. Your children trust you. You see, some of you who have had those experiences, if your children loves you, children cherishes you, if your child trusts you, it feels so good. It feels so good. This creates trust and openness. Okay, learning parenting also helps develop emotional intelligence. This is quite technical, but in another sense, it is very, very simple. And we are going to learn something a bit about emotional intelligence. Children will have to learn to manage their emotions. But before the children will be able to manage their emotions, you, the parents, should be able to manage your emotions. A lot of you don't know how to manage your emotions. A lot of us don't know how to manage our emotions. We just get excited anyhow, and we just get angry and annoyed anyhow. And that is how we handle our children. So whatever we do as parents are either making our kids. It helps you build empathy. So emotional intelligence will help you build empathy and understand other people. So you see, this whole parenting thing we are talking about is a complete personal development activity. It will make you better. It will make you better, because if you are not better, if you don't become, you can't get. You need to grow into the person that will be able to handle the kind of success you seek in this world. So it begins with you as a parent. That is why parenting begins with you. Parenting begins with you. It also helps, or it will help you encourage, it helps encourage, it encourages independence and responsibility in your children. So modern parenting teaches kids to think for themselves, make decisions, and learn from mistakes. You see, as I said earlier on, the world is changing, and you will not always be present in the lives of your children. So you need to start preparing them for the harsh world out there, for the harsh, wicked world out there. Your child should be able to cultivate independence. They should be able to think for themselves and be independent even when you are not around. And they should have a sense of responsibility so that they can be responsible for themselves. This is why you need to learn parenting. And we have the tools and systems to help you become this sort of parent. Learning parenting will also prepare your children for future challenges. Children will be equipped to face the complexities of the modern world with confidence and resilience. It also reduces the stress. You, the parent, it will reduce your stress. You'll be there and people will call you. Most of us, we'll be there and our teachers will call us. Hello, is this Mr. Amponsa? Okay, your child has done this. Every day, problem upon problems. Every day, issue upon issue. But if you learn parenting, if you learn these methods of parenting, if you learn this intentional method, if you learn this positive method, if you learn this conscious parenting, your stress levels will come down. And when your stress levels come down, you see, stress is one of the greatest killers. Stress kills most people more than heart disease, more than all the other kinds of ailments that kill people. Stress is a killer, is the greatest killer. And most of this stress comes from the family, our spouses, and most especially our children. So if you want to live long, you need to become a better parent so that your children will not worry you. Okay? All right, so let's look at some few myths about parenting. And I want us to debunk them. Okay? Now, some people think that parenting is instinctual, is by instinct. I don't need to learn it. Me, I am good. I understand. I am a pastor, so I don't need to learn parenting. I'm a businessman. I'm a leader. I am this and that. You see, the instincts are helpful. You can be instinctual. You can have the parenting instincts. But learning equips you with new tools to handle unique challenges. You see, you can't always decide what is going to happen tomorrow. You don't know what is going to happen tomorrow. That is why you always need to keep learning. So if any new force presents itself in the world that threatens you as a parent and that threatens the existence of the child and the future of the child, you will be equipped. And your instincts will be a backup, like will fortify the skills that you have. Some also say that kids will only respect strict discipline. For me, my child, dear, I have to discipline you. Me, I don't joke with it. And that issue is with most of we, the fathers. Most of us, whatever happens, we think that we have to be firm. Because if my father was not firm with me, if my father did not beat me, I wouldn't have turned out right. So I also have to beat my child. And that is why my child, and that is the only way my child will listen to me. See, respect is earned through mutual understanding. From the start, it will be difficult. Those of you who are going to get into the inner tribe that Ikuya said, okay, from the start, it will be difficult, but gradually you will get to understand and you see changes in your kids. You see changes in your family. Okay. Now, some also say that modern parenting is too soft and spoils children. Why shouldn't I beat my child? The child will get spoiled and all that. It's because you don't understand. You don't understand. And everything we are talking to you about here is backed with science. We have people, some of the speakers are behavioral therapists, some are psychologists, some are different people. And there is even existing science to back everything that we are saying. It's about balanced discipline that involves guidance, boundaries, and empathy. Okay, and empathy. So I would want to quickly try and touch on a few points and bring my session to a close. So far, if you've had an exciting time with me, I want you to let me go to the comment section and see some of the comments there. If you're excited about what is going on, I don't want the session to be too boring, me talking. So let me see some comments here. How is the whole session going? Are you enjoying it? Okay, so isn't about control but connection, communication. Yes, okay, so people are commenting and all that. Yes. So if you are enjoying the session, if you're really learning something new, let me know that you're learning something new. Okay, type something in the comments and let's see. All right, so we continue. All right, so yes, someone is saying, thank you, Pick Parents Academy, for this insightful conference. Yes, there's so much coming. For me, I'm just like John the Baptist. Okay, I'm just like John the Baptist. I'm preparing the road for the experts themselves. Okay, for the experts themselves. And this 3-day conference is not all. There is more and more and more coming. All right, there's more and more and more coming. So let's continue our discussion. I have just a few minutes. Let's say I have just 10 minutes to answer some answers from everyone. Yes. Okay. We take yes. Okay. So let me quickly touch on some practical tips for learning parenting skills. Okay. Now, in all of this that I'm saying, what you need to do is to have a growth mindset. Be open to change. You should be ready to unlearn what you know already. Because if you already filled your mind with archaic stuff about parenting, everything that we are saying, whatever we are telling you, will go nowhere. So acknowledge that you don't have all the answers and that learning new strategies doesn't mean you've been doing it wrong. No. So we are not telling you that you've been doing the whole thing wrong, Leo. It's just because you are not aware of better strategies. You are doing what you know, what you've picked up. But you need to be open to change. If nothing changes, nothing changes. If you don't change, change will not happen for you. And we should also all be ready to learn together. Okay, let's make parenting education a family effort for the whole family. Some of you, especially, I know because I'm a man, I'll put it on the men especially. Most of the men are hard to convince. The wife will tell you, oh, there's this parenting thing, there's this parenting conference I want us to listen to, there's this parenting book, there's this parenting course that we need to take, and all that. The man will tell you, oh, forget, blah, 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 blah. You see, if your husband or your spouse is not really getting to flow with you on this whole parenting thing, just relax. I tell people that take your time. Let the change of what you are learning be evident in what results you give out. So if you're a woman, just focus every day, learn, practice. And when the changes starts coming out, being evident, it's the man himself who said, that, wow, so how is it that Ikea can now do this and that, and that? My dear, why is that? The men themselves will testify, and that's when you can hook them fully on. So when it's time to get into the inner tribe, as Akuya mentioned already, is a year-long curriculum that is going to have you help you like change your parenting. Okay, direct contact with you and all that, so that we are going to help everyone who gets into that program to change your parenting, to get to grow or raise the best children you can ever raise. So if your spouse is not into it, don't worry, just start. But it's best if we all use a family approach. Let's make parenting education a family effort. Let your children see you practicing whatever you're learning. Let the children feel the change in you. And it doesn't matter. Start small. Implement one new thing you learn at a time. Don't expect that change will just happen all of a sudden for you. No. So whatever you learn, I know some of you are parents and you are learning about Wow. So sorry. My power went out, so my Wi-Fi and everything went off. So I'm quickly trying to. Yes. Okay. So I'm quickly trying to get everything back online. So kindly, if you're still here, I'm very, very grateful. Okay. Kindly give me just 2 minutes to get my materials back online, and we continue the session, and then we can finish it now. Yes. So just a few. I really appreciate you still having the time to wait. Yes. So let me just get my files here, and okay. Okay. So. Um, okay, so okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having the patience to still be here. Yes, technology, at times these happen. Okay, at times these things happen, and my Wi-Fi connection, my lights are out now. So I'm using just my laptop and my systems, and also my mobile internet, so that we can still get this going. All right. Yeah. So very, very sorry about that, but thank you so much for still waiting and being with us. So I'll quickly go straight and continue to wherever we reached. Then we continue the conference. Yes. All right. So if you know any friends who went off as the power went off, please ask them to come back. And if we are ready to begin the session, I want you to type in the comments, yes, we are ready to continue. Yes, we are ready to continue. I want to see the comments. I want to see the energy now. I want to see, yes, okay, yes. So I want to see the comments. Yes, nothing is playing at your end, of course, yes. So just put in the comments, yes, we are ready. Let's continue. Let's continue. I want to see that everyone is still with us and paid attention to this, so that we can quickly go on and learn whatever we have to learn. All right. Oh, I want to see the comments. Yes. So wisdom is saying yes. Patience, yes. We are ready, Amma. Yes, we are ready to continue. Okay, great. So we go straight to yes. So where we got to, yes. So I was saying that why, or some practical tips for learning parenting. I'll try and be brief because we don't trust the power so much, but I'll try and be brief. Okay. So I was saying that you have to be open to change. If you want to raise better children, if you want your children to be better, to grow into responsible and wholesome adults, then you have to change your mind. Adopt the growth mindset. Okay. Be open to change. Acknowledge that you don't have all the answers, and that learning new strategies doesn't mean you've been doing it all wrong. You've not been doing it all wrong, just that you're doing what you know how to do. and we are going to present better ways, better means, better strategies for you to become a better parent, for your children to get better, so that your children can perform better in school, can perform better in life, and they can grow and help you glorify God in whatever way that God has destined for you. You also need to learn together. So learn as a family, put everything together. You and your spouse, put your minds together, because it takes two. It takes two. And you also have to start small. It doesn't matter. Just learn something at a time and practice it. Start one strategy at a time and keep going. Things will get better. And another thing too is that practice strategy, practice patience. Okay, be patient enough. The change is not going to happen at a time. Some of you, the change is going to take quite some time. Some of you too, the change is going to be quite immediate. Okay, it depends on the kind of children you're dealing with. It depends on you, even the parent, what you've already been imbued with, what you've lived with all these years up to now. It's not going to be that smooth for you, but you should be ready, and you should have it in you that yes, it is possible. All right. Now, this is why every parent should invest in learning parenting. You should invest in learning parenting. You see, you not just go and get the best things, the best strategies, the best anywhere you find a parenting course. I beg you, find the money, pay for it, and do it. It is great that this conference is free. It's nice. But maybe you'll be online and you find a parenting course somewhere, you find a book on parenting or a video on parenting or anything. Invest time and money into learning parenting. I tell you that it's going to change your life. It is going to change your life. Okay. Parenting is a skill just like anything else. And every skill need to be learned. Every skill need to be refined. Every skill need to be perfected. Cristiano Ronaldo is not Cristiano Ronaldo. I think he's over 30 now, but he's still playing on top of his game. Michael Jackson, when he was alive, he had the skill, he had the talent, but he paid medical doctors, he paid trainers, he paid coaches to help him sing better, dance better, and perform better. In my opinion, he was the greatest performer of all time, Michael Jackson. He invested in it. Every skill, Lionel Messi, the Beyoncés, every skill can be learned. Every skill can be learned. Every skill can be refined. Every skill can be perfected. Okay? Your children's future happiness, confidence, and success are worth it. So if you are spending money to buy parenting things, if you're spending money to buy certain toys, educational toys for your kids, don't think that you're wasting money. You're not wasting money. You need to invest in the future happiness of your children, the happiness of your children, their confidence. You need to raise confident children. You need to raise happy children. You need to raise responsible children. So everything is not just about taking money to pay their school fees. No. Take money to buy books, educational books for them, confidence building courses. Let them do certain courses. Buy books, buy toys, and invest at times, take them out and play and all that. Okay. The time and effort you invest now will save you from heartache. The time and effort you spend now will save you from frustration tomorrow. The time and effort you spend now or you invest now will save you from misunderstandings later in your life. There are some of you, you have misunderstandings with your parent. Some of us also have misunderstandings with our children. Okay. So the time and effort and the money and the resources you invest will save you from heartache, disappointment, frustrations, misunderstanding, and all the stress. So please don't joke with it. Your children will thank you for the patience and the understanding and the guidance you've provided. I told you, you'll be there one day, your children will come and thank you. Like they will change, because the kind of change that is going to come into the family, they will become full human beings, not half-baked human beings. Not half-baked human beings. So in my conclusion, I'll say that Let us all believe in a brighter future for our children. You can have a bright future for you and your child. Where do you see your family in 5 years? Where do you see your family in 10 years? Where do you see your family in 20 years? If people think about your family name, what should come into their minds? Or let's say you are in your old age and your kids are now 20, 25, 30, 40 years, and your kids walk in into your room. What sort of feeling are you? Just imagine, just take a few seconds, just take 1 minute. Okay, everyone, I want you to practice it. Just sit down or wherever you are, take just a moment and think about the future where you are alone, your kids are all grown up, and you're in your hall, a very big hall, and your children walk in. What sort of child or adult do you expect to walk into you? What sort of adult do you expect to be coming in to see you, his or her parent? What sort of child have you raised into that adult who is coming 20 years from now? Whatever that you imagined, you can have it. Whatever that you imagined that your children will grow up to be, you can intentionally create it. So, learning parenting isn't about being perfect, it's about growth. And parenting is a year-long thing. Small, consistent changes can make a huge difference in your family's dynamic. You have the power to create a happy, connected, and thriving family environment. You have the power to create a happy, connected, and thriving family environment. So, ladies and gentlemen, wonderful parent, I'm going to bring my session to a close, and I want to encourage everyone whenever the inner tribe enrollments are opened, don't sit down. Register too for that program. It's a year-long program, and you are going to learn different strategies. Okay, someone is saying that nothing. I believe that everyone is hearing me. Let me quickly check the comments if I'm not having any issues. Okay, okay, I think that we are good here. So yes, so as I bring my session to a close, that's what I was saying was that let's all understand that parenting is a lifelong journey. Okay, it's not the tips. Today you have this conference and you expect everything to change. Of course, you may have changes, but it's not going to be enough. It has to be an everyday thing. So, what I want to say in my conclusion is that the most precious gift we can offer our children is the example we set. The most precious gift we can offer our children is the example we set. Let's make our lives better. Let's raise wonderful, responsible children. Let's learn, let's acquire the skills that will help us make or help our children grow into the actual human beings that they are destined to become. Let's learn that, and let's be ready to invest our time, everything into making these children into who they have to be. And let's invest whatever that we have into making Africa, Ghana great again. Thank you so much for being here with me and spending time despite the network challenges and everything. I so much appreciate everyone who had the time to listen to us. Okay, so I'll give way and invite Ekia back on stage so that we can continue the conference. I believe that there will be a question and answer session. So whatever questions you put down, don't worry, we're going to answer it. So Ekia will handle all of that. Thank you so much and God bless you all. Ekia, I think you can be back on. Yes. So thank you too for getting me on this conference. Thank you. Ekia, we can't hear you. I can't hear you. I can't
Yes,
hear you.
yes, yes, yes. I believe I can be heard now.
Okay. Okay. Oh, yes, yes, I
Okay.
can hear you. I think. Yes.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much for this insightful session. In fact, I was just here and I was listening, like my mind was blown away. Thank you so much. And I believe that parents here, educators here, caregivers, everyone, each and every one of us have learned a lot. Have learned a lot. Now, don't let this be the end. Don't just attend this conference and tell yourself that, wow, now I'm a super parent, I can do it alone. No, we are bringing you the next session in a few minutes. Stay here, don't go anywhere, be here. Parenting is not about prayers. You can't be praying and expect God to do the work for you. There are things that we have to do for ourselves, and there are things that God has already done and He still does. The rest, the work depends on us. Now, you can be anointed. Do you know you can be anointed and still raise an idiot? You can have, the blessings of God. You can be anointed by God and still raise your child to become an idiot. We've seen there are so many examples. There are pastors whose children have, grown to become so irresponsible. There are so many pastors. Recently, I saw a video of one pastor, and he was talking about how he's been able to parent badly, how his way of parenting has really affected his children. And now his children are not even able to call him daddy, just because his focus was only on the work of God. It is true, you have to do the work of God. But do you also know that your children are also beings, destinies that God has given to you to raise them? So you can't just leave them and expect them to grow to become wholesome. And then you do a different thing. No, we have to pay attention. We have to give time to our parenting. We have to grow. We have to learn so that we can give better to our children. You can't give, you can't pour from an empty cup. If you are empty, you can't give anything. So I thank you all once again. I know that you are ready for the next session. So let's stay here. Let's not go anywhere. Share the link. You can share the link to your family, your friends, anyone at all you think that needs to hear this. Share the link to them. And see you in the next session.
Mr. Emmanuel Ogabidu is an early years specialist and currently an administrator and lead guide. He obtained the Nigerian Certificate of Education (NCE) and later bagged a degree in educational psychology from the University of Abuja. He has attended and obtained several professional trainings and certifications, among which are Jolly Phonics, International Montessori Diploma, Creative Based Learning, Technique for Professional Class Leadership, Leading in a 21st Century School, Innovation and Learning in 21st Century, Integration of Technology in Learning, among many others. He spent his time creating resources and showing parents and teachers how children learn and how to make learning fun and meaningful for children. Ladies and gentlemen, wonderful parents, please welcome to the stage Mr. Emmanuel Ogabidu.
Good evening from wherever you're watching this live summit. Welcome to the summit, and it's my pleasure to have you today. So, in this session, I'll be walking you through laying a strong foundation the first 6 years. Now, what are the things we're going to be covering in this session? The first one is we will look at what a foundation is. What is a foundation? What is that word? What does the word foundation mean? Then we will now go on to look at the importance of laying a strong foundation. We'll look at the importance of laying a strong foundation because it is important for you to understand the needs for building a strong foundation for your child. Then we will now go on to look at the areas of development. Why are we going to look at the areas of development? Now, knowing the areas of development, it will help you to understand how they all interrelate. Then you can now go on to guide your child or to lay the strong foundation for your child. Then lastly, with reference to the area of development, we'll look at the what and how to lay this foundation. So if you're ready, let's begin. Now, have you seen this building before, either in the TV or you visited the tourist destination? Now, what was your first impression? Yes, of course, this is a beautiful edifice. It's a beautiful building. Now, whoever sees this thing admires it, right? But one critical thing we don't see to admire is the foundation. Laying a foundation can be sometimes complex or tricky. Now, but if you know the different components that comes into laying a foundation, then you will see the simplicity in laying a foundation. So, what are some of the elements that came into laying the foundation of the structure? We can talk about cement, of course. We have rocks, we have iron rods, and most importantly, water. Now, these four elements have a critical role to play in laying the laying of the foundation of this edifice. Now, the same thing goes into every aspect of our life. There are things you need to know. There are things you need to do to lay the foundation for whatever it is you are going to do. Like we saw earlier, to lay the foundation of this building, there are some basic elements that the architect brought in. Iron rod or steel, water, cement, and rock. Now, this is a foundation. Now, immediately you see a foundation, you know what is going to sit on it. It tells you how tall that thing is going to be, how big, or most importantly, it tells you how long that building is going to stay. Can the building stand a tornado? Can it withstand a hurricane? Can it withstand a storm or flooding? Now, all these things tells you about what a foundation tells you is the kind of building or structure that is going to rest on it. So, what is a foundation? Now, here I said a foundation is a launch pad. It is the base where everything stands on. So you can see, before an architect lays a structure, the architect must lay the foundation, because it is on that foundation that the architect will lay the blocks that will become the building. If the foundation is weak, what it means is that the building will sooner or later collapse. If the foundation is firm, then that tells you the building is going to be there for a long time. Now, different buildings have different purposes, but it is very important to lay a foundation that fits the purpose for that building. Most importantly, how many of you now want to build a house and have not sat down to count what it will take to lay the foundation and to build that structure? Now, it will interest you to know that many people approach raising children with how they were raised. Now, the most critical question is that what was the foundation? What foundation did our parents get to empower them to raise us? If you are raising your children following the pattern you were raised, if you're not careful, you're going to recreate another you. If in this case might even be a worse version of you. So it is very important we pay attention on the foundation we want to lay for our children. Now let's have a look on this powerful dictum by Ignatius Loyola. Give me a child until he is 7, and I will give you the man. He said, give me the raw material, give me the ingredients, and I will tell you, I will give you something. Now here he's boldly telling you that give me a child. Now until that child is 7. So give me a child between 0 and 7 and I will give you the man. Now there's something this man knows, there's something he has observed, there's something he has come to experience that he can boldly say, give me a child until he's 7 and I will give you the man. Now, what he understood is the child is the foundation of the man. Whoever you are today, you owe it to the child that you were. Now, what came into building the child that you were that has not transformed into the adult that you are today? Now, this is one question you need to ponder on. So, if you want to predict our future, our children are our lens. We see our future through them. Now, this is why we need to pay attention and lay a proper foundation. So now, what are the importance of laying a strong foundation for the first 6 years? Now, within the first 6 years, the brain develops rapidly. Now, as a matter of fact, by 3, the personality of the child is formed already. So what does this tell you? Between 0 to 3, the child is developing very fast. Now extend it to 6. Now this is a window for us to capitalize and begin to put in the things that we know will sustain the adult. Now don't forget, life is about garbage in, garbage out. What you sow is what you reap. So to lay a solid foundation, you need to understand that between the first 6 years, the brain develops rapidly. So we need to expose the child and the mind to those things that we know will empower the child to evolve and become that adult that we want. So provide experiences, because during this period, experiences shape cognitive abilities, emotional resilience, and they help to build the child social skills. Now, the next one is form positive habits. And these habits form themselves early within the first 6 years. So what are the habits you'll be looking at? Independence, focus, problem solving, positive attitude, positive views towards life. These things need to be formed early. They need to be formed early. If you don't expose children to positive behaviors, positive attitude, then you are building a shaky foundation already. So establish positive routines and learning habits. Now, this set the stage for future successes. Now, the next one is emotional security. Now, emotional security helps to build the child's confidence. Now, the simplest of them is trust. Now, I see many parents make this mistake. Then they say, okay, I'll buy you sweet on my way back. Now, you're trying to pacify your child into not following you to where you're going to. Then you say, I'll buy you sweet when I'm coming back, when you know you are not going to buy the sweet. Then you tell your child, okay, mom is going to be back in the next 30 minutes. Then you go and stay for 24 hours. Now, what you are doing gradually is that your child begins to feel insecure. Yes, your child begins to distrust you. So when you say A, your child does not believe you. Now, when this continues, it breaks the bond and destroys the child's capacity to trust. So it is very important when you tell a child you're going to do something, ensure you do it by all means, because you understand that you are laying a foundation. Now, this is very, very important. Build trust. Trust leads to emotional security, and when the child is emotionally secured, this child has confidence to live, confidence to face the world, and confidence to take risks. Now, the next one is that the first 6 years is an opportunity for us to lay the foundation for lifelong learning and living. Now, often people separate learning from living, but if you look at these two critically, you need to learn in order to live meaningfully. Now, children are learning and they are living. There is no separation between these two. So now, at this stage, between 0 to 6, is a window of opportunity for us to establish certain things. Make children understand that they learn and they live. The more they learn, the more they can explore, the more they can adjust, the more they can adapt. So this is very important. Very, very important. So we need to pay attention on skills like language, motor development. Now you can see what this child is doing. He's stretching his hand to touch things. That is a simple example of a motor skill. And basic social interaction. Now, these things are learned early. They are learned early. Children learn them when they are young. So, a strong start reduces the likelihood of struggle in later life. We saw emotional security. We saw habits. Now, if you look at it, this cumulatively creates what we call habits. And this habit will determine the child's destiny, because we are creating programs and these children will run with this program. So it is very important that we pass on the right program that will help them to succeed in life. Now, this will bring us to the next point of values and social skills. They take root between the first 6 years. What are some of your values? You can trace them back to your childhood. What are some of the skills you picked? You can trace them back to your childhood. Many of us struggle with some simple social skills because we were not exposed to them. Nobody modeled them to us. Nobody showed us. Nobody guided us. So we pick them randomly. We live by trial and error. Now, the first 6 years is an opportunity for us to lay the foundation for the proper values and help children to develop the skills that will empower them to become adults that are self-confident and are ready to take on the world. So now this will bring us to the next thing, which is the areas of development. Now, the areas of development are like pillars, right? When you're laying this foundation, you have to be careful to put in these 4 areas of development into perspective. Design your environment to cater to these needs. Now, if you looked at some of the importance of laying a strong foundation that we've seen so far, you will see that these things are also incorporated into laying this foundation. So children develop intellectually, they develop socially, they develop physically, and most importantly, they develop emotionally. Now, let me debate a little. Now, when the brain of the child is forming, right, the emotional brain is there from birth. Like this doctor will say, Dr. Bruce Lipton, the intellectual brain is an add-on. It was added to regulate the emotional brain. So, to lay a strong foundation, we need to have a full grasp of these 4 areas of development and begin to feed the child on this area. Now, if you pay attention on one side, you are raising a deficient child. Now, to raise a whole child, we're looking at the whole human being, not an intellectually sound child or a socially smart child or a physically strong child or emotionally skilled child. We're looking at a child that has this attribute in at least the right proportion. So when you want to raise a whole child, these 4 things need to come into play. It is very important that these 4 things come into play because they form the pillar or the foundation that this child is going to spring from. So what most times we do is we focus on the intellectual part. We leave the physical, we leave the social, and we leave the emotional part. So what many people talk about is, oh, my child cannot read. What is happening? My child cannot read. Now they also forget that this child needs to develop socially. This child needs to develop emotionally, and this child also needs to develop physically. So let's go back to our first analogy. Now they are focusing on only the iron rods. Now you see, leaving the rock, the cement, and water. So if you raise a building only on iron rods, you can be sure it's not going to last long, right? If you use only rock, no rods, no water, or no cement, then you can be sure it's not going to stand. Now, the same thing applies to this. If you focus only on one, it means your child will be deficient in the other areas. So to lay a strong foundation, these 4 elements are very, very important. Now, therefore, to build a strong foundation, we must begin to consciously, deliberately, intentionally focus on all 4 areas of development. Now, we'll go into the meat of this conversation, the what and the how. Now, I've shown you what a foundation is. Now, we've gone on to look at the importance of laying a strong foundation. We've seen why the 4 areas of development, why we need to pay attention on these 4 areas. Now, I'm going to show you the what and the how. Like one of my teachers would say, let's operationalize. Let's domesticate these things into practical daily living. So if you're ready, say, I am ready. So the what and the how, as I share the what and the how, you will see different subheads socially, emotionally, intellectually, physically. Now, you can now on your own group them together and see how you can begin to domesticate them immediately with your child. So the first thing that we need to look at now is in laying a strong foundation is to foster emotional security. And I mentioned one of these, which is trust, bonding with your child. Children need human contact, and the mothers are head starts. That is why at birth your child can tell your voice. Your child knows your heartbeat. Now, when you separate the child from the mother, it destroys the bond. There and the right now helps secure that is emotional is and ready to take emotional security. How can you do this? One is respond promptly and sensitively to your child's need. So your child is crying, you say, leave him, let him cry, he will get out of it. No. What you are telling the child is that you don't care. Now your child will grow up with this thing feeling that he does not care. Your child will grow up with zero empathy. Now you agree with me that empathy is one of the core elements if you want to succeed in your social life. Establish routines for predictability and trust. You remember I explained this earlier and I said trust is very important. If your child does not trust you, then your child is not open to learning from you. How do you beat this trust? Do what you say you will do. Say what you mean. Don't say what you don't mean. Don't promise what you cannot do. When you are leaving your child, tell your child you're going to point, you're going to so place, and you're going to be back at so time. And be sure you keep to it. When your child has a sense of predictability, then he begin to build on his trust, then he can take on life fearlessly. The next one is cultivate social skills and emotional intelligence. Now, this is very important, and this takes us back to our first point, emotional security. So, how can you do this? Encourage collaborative play and teamwork, group activity. Now, when children interact with themselves, they see how others feel, and they also come into play to empathize and suit them. Now, these are skills that your child cannot, these are things your child cannot do if you don't model these things for your child. Teach emotional recognition and coping strategies. When your child is angry, what does he do? What is he supposed to do? When you are angry as an adult, what do you do? Do you scatter things? Do you break things? When you lose in a game, do you go angry? Do you start fighting people? Now you are modeling attitude and behavioral pattern that your child will take on. Model respect, model kindness, model empathy, and most importantly, model effective communication. Now, these are skills children need. These are skills that come into laying a strong foundation. Then the next one is encourage independence. Now, every child moves towards independence. When you give birth to your child, that is a movement towards independence. When your child begins to eat, that is a movement towards independence. When your child begins to walk, it is a movement, it is a giant leap towards independence. So encourage independence, because when your child goes outside into the world, he needs to be independent and not a puppet that people can toss here and there. Now, I see many parents making these mistakes, doing things for their children consistently, even when they know that these children can do it. So, expose the children to age appropriate tasks. Encourage them to do things by themselves. First, model it, then create the environment to stimulate them to do things for themselves. So, provide child size materials in the house, materials that is child size, that means they can hold, they can carry, and they can work with. Now use phrase like you can try, you can do it, instead of let me do it for you. Let me do it for you. Your child is trying to mop, let me do it for you. Your child is trying to eat, let me feed you. Your child is trying to dress, let me dress you. Now you are indirectly raising an imbecile, somebody who is not capable of doing anything for himself. So you can now go on to arrange your environment in such a way that it allows for exploration and access to things. Now, you have to be careful of this. Your child's security is paramount. So don't expose your child to things that are harmful to your child. Now, to lay a strong foundation, another critical element that we need to understand is development of the fine and gross motor skills. Now, what are the skills? These are the skills that are you can see in movement, walking, running, carrying of things, writing, eating, picking things, and so on and so forth. Now, these skills come into play when your child begins school. Most importantly, when your child needs to write. So when you expose children to activities that engage their hands, you are indirectly helping them to define their fine skills. When you create space in cleaning, sweeping. Now, these are activities that help to refine the gross and fine motor skills. Encourage climbing, encourage running, encourage dancing. Now, this has to do with the gross motor skills. Now, the body of the child needs to develop physically, and the fine and the gross motor skills have to do with physical development. Now, it's important we expose them to activities that will help them to refine and develop their bones, their muscles, and by extension, their intellect. Now, the next one is promote concentration and focus. I see children that get distracted easily. Now, one of the causes of this distraction is screen time. Children sit on screen for prolonged hours. Children are not designed to sit in one place. Children are wired for movement. Children are wired to move. That is why if you see a child between 0 and 3, they are always on the move. They are either jumping or they are running or they are movement is important when it comes to cognitive or intellectual development. Now, children who move often, they develop the skills to concentrate. Now, one danger I see people committing exposing children is screen time, excessive screen time. Now, what screen time does for children is that it immobilizes them. They sit in one place. Now, sitting in one place does not help the muscles, does not help the motors. So your child is sitting in one place, you are destroying your child indirectly because your child's intellects are not developing. Because the more they move, the more the intellect develop. The more they touch the environment, the more they touch things, the more they communicate, the more they explore. So indirectly, their intellect is developing. So how do you help children to build concentration and focus? Provide uninterrupted time for activities, not watching a cartoon on a tab or in a TV. These are not uninterrupted time. In fact, as a matter of fact, they contribute to their lack of concentration and focus. Provide uninterrupted time. Give them loose items. Don't buy toys. If you observe that children destroy their toys after a week or so because they are complete. They need something that can tax their brain. They want to pull apart and put together, pull apart and put together. That's why I say a child will take his time to build a block, then he will kick the block. Your child is exploring, and as the child is following his interest, the child is developing his ability to concentrate and is also developing his ability to focus. Now, the next one is spend time outdoor, remove screen time, take your children outside, create a connection with nature. Go to the zoo, go to the beach, go to parks, go to open field. Now, you will see as you go to open field, there's also an avenue for movement. You see children running when they see space. Space is an invitation for play, and children love space. Children love space. So go out regularly, spend time regularly, have picnic. Your children will meet people, they learn social skills, they learn how to interact, they learn how to live with nature. Now, most importantly, you can begin to discuss what you see because children are very inquisitive, they ask questions. So indirectly, by taking your child out, you are indirectly preparing your child for life. You are educating your child. So most of the things your child will not be taught in school, you are teaching your child already. You are exposing your child to those things. Now, the next one is support language development. Language is one of the critical, the most basic needs of a child, because the child needs language to communicate his thoughts and his feelings. How can you support language development? One, talk to your child. When you are bathing your child, tell him what you're doing. When you are creaming your child, tell him what you are doing. When you are cooking, tell your child what you're doing. When you are about whatever you are doing, always tell your child, okay, mommy is going to do this, mommy is going to do that. Now, mommy wants to cut this, mommy wants to cut that. As you are doing this, you are exposing your child to language, and you are helping to build your child's vocabulary. Name things. Tell your child names of things. This is a TV. These are chairs. This is a table. This is a hand towel. This is a knife. This is a pot. Now, people always assume that because children don't say, they are not learning. But children are absorbing all these impressions from their environment. Now, when it's time for them to talk, you see them saying this, and you be like, "What? Where did you learn all of these things from?" So know that children are learning 24/7. Now, your duty is to continually supply them what they need per time. Your duty is not determined when they will talk. Your duty is to supply them language, talk to them, name things, tell them stories, expose them to books. Now, as you do this, you are supporting their language development and, by extension, enriching their vocabularies. Now, the last one, okay, this is not the last one. The next one is introduce foundational academic concepts. Now, if you look at all of these, I haven't mentioned anything academics, because in laying a foundation, academics happen to be the last one, because your child can only learn when it's emotionally secure. A child whose social skills are very bad, then he cannot learn, because everybody will run away from that child. So you see, introduce foundational concepts like stories, read together, count objects. Oh, okay, we have, how many chairs do we have here? Count it with your child. How many pillows? Count it. How many cars? Count it. Tell your child when you see something, tell your child the colors. Name those things. Now, as you are doing this, you are indirectly preparing your child for school. So lay the foundation for foundational literacy by naming things, counting numbers, going through the phonetic sounds. Now you go through these things indirectly by not even telling the child. So for example, if you have a spoon, you tell that this is spoon, spoon. Now as you do this with other things, you are indirectly giving your child the codes of the spoken words. Now, the next one is support cognitive development. Now, this is almost similar to the last one we looked at, but the only difference here now is you can expose your child to real life objects. Real life objects are very important. Don't use imaginary objects. Use concrete material, because children are forming concepts. Now, if you don't give them the right thing, then they will end up with the wrong thing. So give them real life object, let them feel it, let them touch it, then you name it. Expose them to real events. When you are cooking, let them stay with you in the kitchen. These things are stimulating their mind. Have you seen children trying to imitate their parents in cooking? Yes. Now, because they've seen it, they also want to practice it. Now, learning is in practice and in repetition. So, play games, sort things, expose your child to new experiences and challenges, because this exposes the mind and increase the number of networks of neural connections that goes on in the brain. Then the last one is encourage creative expression. Now, some of the creative expression many of us know is painting. No, telling stories is a form of creative expression. Singing is a creative expression. Making things with paper is a form of creative expression. So follow your child's interests. Encourage your child to do things. Now, as your child is doing them, you will see where your child interest is. Then you supply these materials and help your child build the skills that are very important to him. Allow time for open-ended materials. Like I talk about giving children toys. No, children don't like toys. Toys are just the temporary things children need. What children need is are open-ended materials. Now, these open-ended materials help them to develop intellectually, encourage imaginative plays and storytelling. Now, when children are engaged in creative expression, refrain from passing judgment. When you keep passing judgment on what they are doing, you are destroying their self-esteem. And self-esteem is one of the things children need to face the world out there. And lastly, there is one key element that integrates all of this. There's one key thing that helps children to experience life in 3D form. Now, what is that thing? Play. Play helps children to develop intellectually, socially, physically, and emotionally. Now, let's look at the picture on our screen. These children are playing football, right? So let's look at how all these things now come into play in just this playing of football. As children are playing football, they move from one place to the other, right? They are developing physically. The muscles and the bones are developing. They develop stamina, the ability to stand on the ground even when somebody pushes them, they don't get to fall. The next one is they develop emotionally. They learn to relate. They self-regulate, especially when the ball does not come their side often. So they think of ways, they think of means to get the ball without throwing tantrums, without crying, they took my. No. It helps them to self-regulate and go after the ball. The next one is it helps children to develop socially. Children begin to develop and refine their social skills, right? Take turns. Wait for your turn. When they lose, they don't start abusing everybody. They have social skills that will help them to interact and play with their friends. Then the last one is play helps children to develop intellectually. Now they need to calculate the distance. Oh, how hard do I need to kick the ball, or how soft do I need to kick the ball to ensure it gets to the goal post? They measure distance. When they run, they count their steps. How fast, how slow do I need to go? Now these are intellectual skills. Now you can see play is the playground where all these key elements come into play. So allow time for extended play. Create time for extended unstructured play. Unstructured play where children initiate what they want to do and they follow it through. As children play, follow their interests, they develop the ability to concentrate and focus. They learn social skills, they develop emotionally and physically, and most importantly, they develop intellectually. So play has so many advantages for children. Now, as you give your child more playtime, you are laying a firm foundation for your child. Thank you very much for listening. Do have a wonderful session. Bye bye and thank you.
Hello, hello, hello. We thank Mr. Emmanuel Ogabiju so much for this insightful session. I believe if you're a toddler parent, if you're a toddler mom, toddler dad, I believe you have learned a lot. Most of the times, parents go like, my children are worrying me. They don't want, sometimes a toddler would not want you to do things for themselves. Yes, it is that stage that they are practicing independence. So allow them, but make sure you are guiding them as well. Let them do things for themselves. And unless that thing is going to hurt them, then of course you need to come in. But let them do things for themselves. If they want to dress up themselves, let them do it. If they want to, bath themselves, let them do it. Tell them it's your time to do it. Then, if you want to do it well for them, for instance, my toddler, she will always say that, Mommy, I want to bath myself. Mommy, I want to brush my teeth myself. I said, okay, it's your turn to do it. So do it. When you are done, it's Mommy's turn to also brush your teeth. Then I do it well for her. So when you do that, you are encouraging independence in your child. Note that the goal of everything is to raise children to become independent. The goal is to raise our children to become independent. We are not raising kids who will solely have to depend on us. Kids who, when we are not around, they can't do things for themselves. No, that is not the purpose. That is not the reason for this. We are raising children who will be able to do things for themselves, whether we are there or not. So, without much talking, I would want to invite Mr. Kwame Brimpong to the stage so that we can take questions, any question at all that you have. Mr. Emmanuel has to leave for a quick, something work. So he can't join us for the Q&A. But I would want to, Mr. Kwame. Okay, he's joining us. He's joining us.
Yes,
So if
hi,
you
hi,
have
hi, hi.
any
Yes.
question, kindly put it in the comment section so that we can look at it for you. If not to, then we may have to end here because we have to prepare for tomorrow. We have to prepare for tomorrow. So any question, any question, any question? Any question at
Well,
all you have, let us see
it's
in the comment section.
yes, it's been wonderful. I can see so many comments, people commenting, people saying that they've learned a lot. Yes, so Grace saying, I've really learned a lot. Oh, hey, Grace, this is even almost nothing. Oh, there's so much more to learn. There's so
True.
much more to learn. Yes. And the work is great. So I'm excited. I'm excited about this whole thing. I'm excited about this whole thing. Yes. So I don't know if there are any questions. I understand that Ikuya, it's a busy day and most people will
Yes.
be at work. So, and I believe that if you are not able to put your comments to here, probably due to one or two reasons, maybe the network or um, whatever, you can put it in. Then I think people can comment in your group too.
Yes,
The
definitely.
conference group. Yes. So WhatsApp, and tomorrow two people
And
can be on.
even
Yes.
if you catch a replay, you can still put in your questions, your comments,
Yeah.
and we will look at it tomorrow.
Someone was asking if there's going to be a replay. So yes, definitely. I think there will be a replay, and the link will be shared with everyone. So if you missed any part of it, I think you can get it later. Yes, I think they can get it later. Yes. So
Okay.
um, yes. So Govi Wilfred is saying insightful. Iris, I don't know, and Lakai say very informative. Yes, very useful. Yes. Okay, so these are the comments. I believe that it is something new to a lot of people. So the information that has gotten to them, they need to go and relax and digest all that they've heard today so that people can prepare for tomorrow, I think. Yes, I think. Yes, I don't know what you think because no particular questions are coming, but the comments coming. Yeah. Someone, Grace is asking if the conference is recorded.
Yes, so
Yes,
you can
it
actually,
is. Yeah, it is recorded. So you will have a replay. I think Ikuya will take care of that.
and
Yeah.
you can use the same link, the same YouTube link that we provided. You can use that same link to catch replay anytime, any day, wherever you are. Use that same link, okay, to catch replay. If for me, I'm going to also sit down again and watch this session from beginning to the end because, of course, you can't, you need to sit down, take your time, and watch again so that you're able to really understand certain things again very well better. So You can just use that same link. You can use that same link to catch replay. Yes.
Okay, Ikuya, someone is asking, please, can we outline in detail some of the activities that can be used to build the children from 0 to 6? So she's asking that any activities, I don't know if the speakers tomorrow, some of them will outline or you will share it with them or whatever, I don't know.
Okay, so you can have a bedtime, time with your children where you read to them. You can, let them join you whilst you are in the kitchen, you are cooking. Let a child. You can. I think there are plastic knives that you can get for your children. If you can afford, you can set up a small kitchen for your child. There are lots of those things around. They are all helping the child build skills. They can use, they can color, they can do painting, they can read, they can arrange puzzles. There are age appropriate puzzles and Legos that your child can play with. The resources are a lot. They are so many. You can get them for your children to play with all of those things. And if you are sweeping, my toddler, for instance, I have a small broom, a small standing broom for her that she uses to sweep. So when you are sweeping, she wants to do it, and I don't stop her. She's also sweeping. When you are washing, she tells you, "Mommy, I want to wash." When you are, doing all of that, she wants to do it. But for us parents, we see those things as, these children are going to waste my time. Let them waste your time. That is how they learn. That is how they learn. That is how you build a child, build these skills. And there are some ages. It's called the window of opportunity. It opens up at some stages. When the child is very young, there are some skills you need to teach the child. When they pass that age, you see, teaching those things become very difficult. When they get to the teenage years, that is where parents begin to fight with their children, because you are telling the child to do something and the child doesn't want to do it. The time you were supposed to teach that child that thing, that time has passed. So it's difficult for them to learn. The window of opportunity is closed during the teenage years, and you can't teach that thing. They begin to fight it. So in the early years of the child, that is why you need to teach. I'll look for that chat and send to, I think I will send to the group. There are, skills you need to teach at every age of a child's life. So we need to take note of that. When you build a strong foundation, you don't have to be afraid that a building is going to collapse someday. You don't have to be afraid. Yes, so you need to pay attention, especially when they are young. I say that if your child is young, even if you're about to give birth, sing praises to God. If you're about to give birth and you are being exposed to these things, sing praises to God, because you will have a better way to raise your child. You will have a better way to raise your child. That doesn't mean that if your children are grown, you can't do anything. No, you are able to rewire the brain to teach certain things that you haven't been able to teach the child. So let's take note of that. And I don't think there are any questions. I don't think there are
There are
any questions.
questions here. There are questions in the
Okay.
comments. I can see these
Okay.
questions. Yeah, so Opukwa is asking, how do you work with children who like to social a lot?
Oh,
Who?
okay.
How do you work with children who like to socialize a lot? I don't know if that's what she intended to write. There are a couple of questions here, so if you could touch this one, then we could go. I can see from my end. That's why I'm reading to you. Probably you can't see from your end. Yes.
Okay. Okay. We mostly have parents, these things, uh, like I said, you can't just use an hour or 2 or 3 hours to solve all your parenting issues. Parenting is a journey. So you need to understand the child you have. You don't know your child. That is why you have problems with the child. So understand has the child has their temperament, they have their learning style, they have their love language. So do you understand? If you are a parent who is cool, calm, collected, you don't really like the children or people who are noisy, and your child is noisy, your child wants to be everywhere, your child wants to talk, because you don't understand the child, you tend to have issues with the child. Why is this child so loud? Why is this child, then we begin to shut this child up. Shut up, don't talk, keep quiet, you are this, and the child quarrels. The child calls the child is not able to do anything. They grow and they become timid. It's because you don't understand the child. And if your child likes to socialize a lot, please, you need to watch how you need to know how you can direct. You need to direct this child. You need to tell them, guide them. Okay, you need to. This is what you need to do. There are places you don't have to talk. You don't have to go to. There are people you don't have to mingle with. Let them know who they are. Let them know where they can go, where they can talk. What is not allowed for them. What is allowed for them. It's guidance. If you don't guide the child, they will be everywhere. A child who
Okay.
is social, who is able to socialize, this child can grow to become a great, a person. They can grow to become great speakers because, of course, they love to talk, they love to mingle with people. So you need to guide this child, okay? Guide this child so that you'll be able to help this child.
Okay. So there's another. What do you do to a 2 years child who want to play after school, and as a parent you are afraid she will get hurt? So the child wants to play after school, and you don't want the child to play after school because you don't want your child to get hurt. Yeah. So how should a parents like that
Sorry,
take care? Those
sorry that I'm
parents who like to
laughing,
bail
but
their kids out.
sorry that I'm
Yes.
laughing, but I think it's quite funny. Okay, so for a child, what else do you want a child to do? Let them play. Through play, a child is able to learn. You can have a structured play, and then you can have an unstructured play. So you can set up a place. If you don't want your child to go outside, see, you think your room is too small to raise an impact maker. Let the child move. The child is going to grow to go to countries, different places, to make impact. How are you saying you are afraid to let the child play because you think the child is going to hurt? You are just passing on your trauma to your child. This is the hard truth.
Hmm.
You are just passing on your trauma, your fears to the child. Let the child be. Mama, let this child be. Let them play. If they have to go and play outside, let them go and play outside. If you don't want them to go outside too, you need to get a place for them. Set up a place in your room, a corner, where you have all sort of things like, bowls, cooking utensils, these small, small things that you can get that children play with. Get them and put them in that corner. Let a child go there all the time. You can put a stand in a box. You can find a box and put sand in them. If your child wants to play with sand, let them play with sand. They learn through play. They learn through play. Let the children play. That is how they learn. That is how they learn. I hope this answers you.
Yeah, I think it answers it. I think it answers it. There are no more questions here, just comments about, yes, so everything. So I think that people are quite okay. There are no further comments. So I think Ikuya, yeah, there weren't too many questions. Okay, so someone is someone is asking, how do I get my 2 years old to obey instructions? You see, how do I get my 2 years old? Yes, so no, okay, you are laughing because you are, should I say, you are advanced in it. People don't really, it's quite new to people. So
Yes,
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 it's an
yes,
issue. People are worrying
yes,
about their kids.
yes.
Akosia, don't do this. You come back and they'll be doing it. Hey, don't go here. Oh, mommy, that's where I'm coming from. You see, those kind of children. Yes, and most parents are tricked to be thinking that these are bad children. There is no bad child. Okay, there is no
Yes,
bad child. And getting your child, if you have 2 years, 1 year, 3 years, it doesn't matter the age of your child. If your child doesn't listen to instructions, it is good you need to make up your mind that you're going to learn parenting. It's all about influence, communication, influence, because you don't have enough influence on the child for you to earn the privilege of them listening to you. So when I was speaking, I mentioned something that you need to learn how you're going to communicate with your child, how to connect with your child so that your child will listen to you. okay, so that your child will listen to you. So Ama Abuaje, don't worry. We can't, I don't know, treat all of that here. But what I can tell you is that start from yourself. Okay, find ways you can connect with your child. Find ways you can connect with your child. Try and understand why they are doing what they do. Why is it that when you tell them to do something, they don't want to do it? Why? There may be reason. Okay. So come down to last time I was talking to a group of parents and I was telling them that about this same issue. Come down to the level of the child. Don't expect the child to rise up to your level. No, he doesn't have the kind of experiences you've had in this world. He doesn't have the kind of knowledge you have in this world. He's a stranger or she is a stranger. Your child is a stranger in this realm. So take it easy with the child. For now, don't be too swift to wanting to change the child. The first advice I will give you is try and understand why your child doesn't do what you ask them. And that understanding starts from understanding their temperament, why they do what they do. So that is what I will tell you for now. But as the conference progresses and as you are part of this whole community, I think some of us, the trainers, will keep talking about these. There will be sessions, there will be webinars, and probably courses that we may give to you that will help you address this whole issue. Yes. So someone is, I don't know, Ikea, if you have something to add to this.
Yes, so that is all that you have said. In parenting, you need to be able to
Yeah.
influence your child, and it's all about influence. So you need to calm down. I sometimes I give this analogy that imagine you are, you go to another planet, you go to a different planet, and then when you go there, you are new there, you don't know how things work there, you don't understand anything at all on that planet, and the people there teach you, they take you around, they teach you, okay, this is how things are done here. But anytime you do something, you make a mistake.
Yeah.
Anytime you do something,
Yeah.
there's an error, there's a mistake.
Yeah.
It's because you haven't had the skills to, do things
Mhm.
appropriately. And it's the same with our children. They are new here, 3 years old, 2 years old. They don't know much. And their brain develops, okay, fully at age 24, 26. So imagine the time they have to really get or to really, get what we are teaching them. So if you want to be able to, influence your child, it's all about influence. Parenting is influence. So you need to come down to the level of the child, as Kwame said, so that you'll be able to communicate effectively with the child. Most of them, children at that age, there are strong-willed children. Like when you meet a strong-willed child, they will not do easily what you tell them to do, they will not do it. So it's up to you. Your response is everything as a parent. So it's up to you to calm down to know, okay, how do I do this thing? Like if you want, something from your husband, if you want money to go and buy the weave-ons and the weights, you know what to do. I believe so many, if you're married, you know what to do to get what you want from your husband. So do what you have to do, to get that child to do what you're asking them to do. It's all about influence. That is all I'll add to it.
Okay, so okay, I'm not seeing any further questions from my end. So I think I'll have to
Okay.
leave everything up to you now. So that's yeah. Thank you so much.
Okay, all right. I believe this session has been insightful, and I believe we have learned a lot too. Tomorrow is going to be another great day. I believe you don't want to miss tomorrow's session. So, tomorrow we are going to talk about how you can become an effective parent. How you can become an effective parent. And we are also going to look at how to parent in peace and calm. We can do this thing, guys. We can do this. Super parents, super moms, super dads. I believe that we have learned a lot, and we are going to be live tomorrow as well. You can still share the registration link to your family, to your friends, to any parent at all that you know, your church groups, your school groups, everywhere you think this session will be of benefit, to try and share to them so that they can also join us and learn to. See you tomorrow and enjoy the rest of the day. Bye.